All right, we're live on YouTube and we are with Jill Merriman today on Essential Stories. Jill, welcome.
Hi,
So
Carrie. How
glad
you
to
doing
have
today?
you.
It's
It
great being here.
we could do a whole show on just the journey of how we met and all the coincidences and the overlaps and the connections, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to stick to the format, but I will share with the audience you're definitely one of my favorite people and I know
Oh,
we could talk for hours, but just so that our friends out there can get to know you, we're going to play a little game. We're going to play this or that. Are you ready?
okay. Okay.
All right,
This or
here we
that.
go.
Okay.
This or that. Have all your messages and photos leaked publicly or never use a cell phone again.
Never use a cell phone again. For sure. I don't like being out there in social media. No.
Okay. Be able to run at 100 miles per hour or fly at 20 miles per hour.
Fly. I always wanted to fly. Oh,
That's so
yes. Since
cool.
I watched Superman when I was a kid. Oh, yes. That's a good question.
Right?
Thank
That's a
you.
good one.
Yeah.
Be the funniest person in the room or the smartest person in the room.
Well, people say I'm funny already. I think smartest. I think because you can make really good conversation. Yeah.
Nice. I think you're pretty smart. She's smart and funny.
You're funny.
Uh, Listen to your least favorite song on a loop for a year, or never listen to music for a year.
Oh man, that's hard because I really love music. Music is so important in my life. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to say, listen to my least favorite music for a
Okay.
year. Mm,
Maybe you'd
mm.
get to like it. Who knows?
Yeah, no, I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation.
Okay. Spend the weekend with pirates or ninjas.
Oh, is there a difference? Aren't they the same thing, only in different centuries? Come on, who's a pirate in real life?
One's on the sea, one's on the land. I don't know.
Okay, so if that's how you explain it, then
Okay.
I'll spend it with ninjas because even though I love the water, I love the ocean, I get seasick. So I can't be with a pirate.
Pirate, they
No,
would take good care of you. All
no, they
right.
wouldn't.
That was fun. Let's get into the meat of the matter, which is talking about essential oils and your experience and you're being part of doTERRA and our lovely community. We love having you part of it. So go back to the beginning. And this doesn't have to be a doTERRA experience. Like how
Hmm.
far back can you remember your first encounter with an essential oil?
Oh, it's definitely a doTERRA experience because
Okay.
I always wondered, like, what do people do with these things? Like, I thought essential oils were just smell nice. So you walk into a store that has oils and it's like they have the whole display up of different ones. You're like, oh, I guess people use these things. What do they use them for? I don't know. Like I never even put two and two together. But I guess it was 5 years ago or so. I by fluke, it was just a chance. I had to substitute giving a presentation to a networking group because a friend of mine called and said her two toddlers were sick. And do you think you could do this for me? I don't want to not show up. And it was an hour away. I knew the area because I lived up North Jersey when I was younger. So I went, and that's where I met Denise, who is, my team leader, which is awesome. Anybody who knows Denise knows how awesome she is. But this is how weird it was. I'd set up my whiteboard and I was ready to do my presentation. It had taken me 2 hours to get there, not 1 hour. It was rainy and it was cold. It was like an October night. It was horrible. I'm telling you this for a reason because when I got there, I had this headache, like a sinus headache. And I had no time to like dig for Advil. I hadn't really eaten. So I'm trying to set my stuff up and I have this headache. And I do the presentation. And when they get to Denise, when they talk about what they do, the 30-second elevator pitch, she
Yes.
hands out two oils. She gives the orange and the peppermint. She goes, just put a drop in your hand. I'm like, who is this crazy lady with the oils? I became the crazy lady later on, right? That's another story. So she passes it around and I'm looking like, oh man, what is this stuff? So I do it and it worked. And afterwards, I say to her, wow, that's really cool that it wakes you up. You got anything for a sinus headache? And she said, "Oh, I do." Boom. She takes it out of her purse. She gives it to me and she tells me to roll it over where my sinuses are and on the back of my neck. And she goes, "Yeah, it'll work." And sure enough, like within, half an hour, gone. So we went to have a cup of tea after, the whole group of us. And I started talking to her. And, that was my first experience was Digoxin, which I used for the sinuses, and then the skincare, which I loved. We talked about that and I just wanted to buy it. I said, no, I just want to buy it. I wasn't interested in the business at the time, but
Right.
the skincare is awesome. I mean, I used
Okay,
to
so
buy
wait,
this
you have
full
to
of,
back up because what you
oh,
said was she gave you Digest Zen for your sinuses. So Digest
yeah,
Zen to me sounds like something for like tummy troubles.
it is. It's a digestion oil. It's a
Okay.
blend. It's a proprietary blend that doTERRA has, as you know.
Right?
But for some reason, it works. It works for the sinuses, and I use it all the time. It's so great. It
I think
really is.
I have to, I just wanted to punctuate that and highlight that because it's amazing to me like how many off-label uses I hear people getting, great results with from the oil. So like just because it says digest zen doesn't mean that it may not have some other really cool way of being used. So I think that's amazing. That was your first experience. And I love the fact that it forged a friendship and she came in, as the kids would say, she came in clutch at the end when you really needed her after that horrible drive. So we're
Oh,
glad
yeah.
that she was able to show up when she needed to. So maybe this is something different, or maybe this is the same story, but what was your first, like, really wow moment in doTERRA? Like when you said, oh, this is something really different from what I've experienced. It could be different from like a business standpoint, or it could be different from
Hmm.
like a healthcare standpoint. But like, I think we all have that moment where we go, wow, this company is unique.
I think what makes it unique for me, what it started, and Denise said the right thing, and she didn't know she said the right thing. She was just talking in truth, right? Is
Right?
that it educates. And that's important to me. I mean, as an accountant, I've always educated my clients on how to have better books, how to have better write-offs, things like that. And then years ago, I started teaching women how to network, which is what I was doing there, giving that presentation. And it's all about educating. So when she happened to say, like, I'm thinking to myself, when she gave me that oil, well, this is good, but how am I going to know with all these oils what to do
Right.
with them? And then I was like, well, how am I going to know what to do with the oil? And she said, oh, we have great, YouTube videos. The company is really big on education. We have team educating. Oh, I'll have you join the Facebook group. She was really instrumental in everything. I love Denise. But that's what really made the difference. That's what I said. Wow, they're not only giving you a solution, but they're teaching you because I've always been with the expression, give a man a fish he eats for a
Yeah.
day, teach a man a
Love
fish
it.
he eats for a lifetime. So I was like, okay, you're going to teach me how to use these oils, doTERRA, and then I will be able to help others. And that's exactly what happened. The rest is history.
I love that. I love that. You know what I love about these interviews? Like everybody gives a different piece of the puzzle. And I feel like that's a big part of doTERRA that like everyone's experiences is so unique, that and they're all great, but they're just so unique. So what motivated you from that moment? I mean, I don't know how long it took, but where you said, I got to go tell people about this. I can't just keep this to myself. There's something really like unknown here, or I've got this education, I want to share it. How did that happen?
Well, it definitely wasn't after I was educated. And that's, I think, the most frustrating part for someone like me, because I need to know it all at once. And I
Okay.
remember you and I having a conversation in early on, like it's a process. And I'm impatient with that because I want to know it all at one time. So it was really after the first month. So by the time I ordered the skincare, which was awesome, that was probably like January. I started using it, and then I noticed the texture of my skin being different. And in the winter, women's skin are dry. We're in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And I just started having conversations with women, and they would say the same thing. Oh, my skin's so dry. I don't know. It's menopause. I'm going through this. And I'm like, you've got to try this. And I just said, you know what? I could share this with people and make a difference for women. Like everyone has a different, age group that they
Yeah.
like to. And mine is like 50 and over, like
Okay.
menopausal women, like you're not dead after 50. There's
Right.
things you can
Thank
do.
God, right?
Yes. Yes. And it's all, at this point, it was all topical. I have to add that. Like when Denise gave me that oil, it wasn't scary for
Yeah.
someone who's never used natural
Okay.
products because it was a roll-on, like it's a roll-on, even though it goes through the skin, we know that,
Yeah.
but it wasn't something like, why are you giving me this pill to take? And the skincare was
Right.
topical.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was easy.
So familiar application, good experiences, easy to talk about, it sounds like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I was able to share it wherever I was. I always had an oil with me because now I started getting this oil. What do I do with this oil? And I have a book and it's just
Yeah.
great. Oh man.
So you've shared with a lot of people. I know that you have,
Mhm.
you have this nice community that you've created, and you draw people to you with your great personality and your knowledge. But along the way, was there like, do you have that one story that like you just you're so grateful that you took a chance to share with someone because you really saw how it changed their life?
Yes, and actually this was a man. So,
Okay.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying,
so there's your
women are just
50-year-old women like out the door. Okay, so tell me about the man.
Yeah, so it's the man. It's a friend of my husband that he used to work with, and I was friendly with his wife, but
Okay.
she at the time she wasn't buying the oils for me, and we really didn't see him. We saw him like twice a year for dinner.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not like a close friend. So I found out through another friend of my husband that this guy, his name is Bobby, Bobby was in the hospital. He had gotten sick and he didn't know what it was. He thought it was a heart thing and he was getting winded, taking long, walks, and he lives by the beach. And he went to the doctor and there was something going on with his lungs. So they don't know what it was, but it looked like shard glass. That's what the doctor said. So he
Okay.
was in the hospital for like 2 weeks. Then he was on steroids for continuous. I knew nothing about this. I got in the picture after he was out of the hospital for 2 weeks and off and on steroids for over a month. And the doctor
Wow.
was like giving him stronger and stronger. So I called his wife, I'm kind of gutsy like that. Like I figured all they could do was say no, right? I
Right.
hate selling, but I was selling the idea of a solution for them. So I called his wife and I said, listen, I know that he's sick. How is he doing? She's like, he's really not feeling well. He can't get off the couch. I was like, okay, I could make together this blend of oils. And of course, I talked to Denise about it because I knew certain, but I didn't know like
Yeah.
the best oils. I said, would he use it if he was applying it topically? She goes, I guess, I get, and she's calling him, Bobby, you think you'd use this? He's like, yeah, she's got those voodoo oils. Yeah, sure, sure. Like they knew I had them, but they didn't know what it was. So I made it, I dropped it off at their house, like 20 minutes away. And then I checked in on them, like maybe 4 or 5 days later. She's like, he hasn't used it. Why? He keeps forgetting. I said, listen, this is how I talk to them. Put it next to your toothbrush. This is what you got to do. So you use it at least twice a day, but I need you to use it 4 or 5 times a day. He's like, all right, all right. So he does. I check in on him a week later. He's like, I guess I'm a little better. I don't feel a difference. He was going to the doctor the following week. So from the time that I started with the oils, it was like 3 weeks that then he went to the doctor. And the doctor saw a 50% improvement in his lungs. And the only things that he did different was he still had him on the steroid,
Right.
but this concoction of oils, I say this blend of oils that we put together. So
Wow.
he said, what are you doing different? What are you doing? And he said, my friend's wife gave me voodoo oils and I'm applying them to my chest and my back. And so he goes, keep doing what you're doing, whatever you're doing. I'll see you in 3 months. So that was Thanksgiving when he went back and it was 80% better,
Wow.
80% from original. So then he says, I'll see you. Because Bobby was going to Florida. He goes, I'll see you before Florida, which was the first week in January.
Okay.
And it's 100% clean bill of health. And I
Wow.
kept making the roll-ons. At
Yeah.
that point, then they bought it and
Okay.
they bought like, what do we need? What do we need to
Yeah,
do?
yeah.
That's all he did topically, topically. That is like, wow,
That's a
because
fun
the
story.
doctor had said to him, listen, if these steroids don't stop, you're going to have to be on breathing machine. You're not going to be able to have an active life like you did. He used to play golf. He used to walk a lot
Yeah.
every day and he wasn't going to be able to do that. So I feel like with the oils, I was able to connect him with these oils and give him quality of life. And he's fine. That was
I was gonna
like,
say, how's he doing?
he's doing great. He retired to Florida. They're doing great. He
That's great.
swims, he plays golf. It's gone. Never happened again.
Amazing.
It
That's
must have
amazing.
been like something that just landed in his lungs, some viral. They
Right.
don't know if it was from the buildings or whatever he worked. So that was really satisfying because I mean, I've helped other people along the way, but that was like a doctor said, "Wow, what are you doing?" You know?
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. And I know you actually have doctors in your group. So you've been
Hmm.
able to communicate with a lot of practitioners and people, at different levels. I think that's your special gift. You have this great gift of communication. Obviously, you were teaching networking and have been teaching networking. So, I love how people's like, their the things they did in the past kind of jump into the way they look at oils and share
Hmm.
oils, and that then they make it their own, right? Because there's not just one way to talk to people, there's not just one way to do this. And yeah, I think that's incredible, how you've been able to kind of put those things that you love together, women, and obviously helping people and using the passion that you have. But
Hmm.
okay, so I know not every oil is a favorite. So is there an oil that you're like, no, not going to use that one? That stinks.
There's totally an oil that I do not even own because I
Okay.
cannot. It's patchouli. I it's
Oh,
like cilantro. Either you love it or you
yep.
don't.
Okay.
People love it or they don't. To me, it smells like moss and dirt. And even though I love being outside in the wood, it's like a bad smell to me. I can't.
Okay.
If somebody, like some of the oils are a blend and they have that, and
Yeah.
if I smell it on someone, I'm like, oh
No, thank you.
no. So that's yeah, patchouli is my number one, like no, no.
Go
No.
away. All
So
right.
and people
So
love it.
I find, and maybe you're different, but I find like I start using this group of oils and then I kind of put those aside for a while and then I go to some other oils and I'm playing with those for a while. So what's going on in your life right now? What oils are like your favorites? Or
Well, let's
maybe it's
see.
not an oil, maybe it's a other kind of doTERRA product. What
Nope,
do you have in your diffuser?
I got my adaptive.
Adaptive, okay.
Adaptive is really nice in the afternoon.
Helps with
I
stress. She's doing taxes right now. That makes sense.
Yes, it's definitely look, and it's like spraying as we speak.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. You know what I love, and this is like an off oil. I say
Okay.
off because not everyone. I love fennel, so I have my lemon, my warm water with lemon in the morning, and then I love having fennel in the water. I just because I love black licorice, and to me it
Okay.
tastes like black licorice.
Yeah.
I love putting 2 drops of cassia in my coffee. So when I drink the coffee afterwards, I love that. I know it's good for blood pressure and I just love the taste of it. I just
Yeah.
love the taste of it. Um, I love like frankincense. I don't diffuse frankincense, but if I was to be on a deserted island and there was
Yeah.
one oil, I would take frankincense. I
Frankincense.
mean, it's awesome. I just love it. So that I use every day. Those are the oils I use. I use Breathe at night with black spruce at night. So I have a different concoction. I put tangerine in my water, if I'm drinking throughout the day. I mean, I'm surprised how many oils I use throughout the day. If you would have told me 10 years ago, you're going to be using oils and you're going to use like 15 to 20 a day, I'd be like, you're out of your mind.
Right, right.
No, I really do. And I love it. I mean, like, I have them always with me. There's like bags of oils, like I have bags of, it's just like,
Yeah.
great. It's just great. I love everything about it. So there's different. The citrus, I love Melissa oil. I love Melissa oil. That's awesome. I use my MetaPower products every day, the Advantage, which I love the taste of that. I love my
But what's
fiber.
what's MetaPower for? Just for the people who have never heard of it before.
Well, MetaPower is to give you better metabolic health.
Yeah.
And I love the Advantage because it's a collagen uh,
Okay.
boost, collagen replacement.
Yeah.
And I love that my skin's better. I mean, I'm 61.
No, you look incredible.
Like
You're
it's
incredible.
okay. Like
Yeah.
it's good between that and the cream. So it takes a village. It takes a village of oils. Like
Oils.
unless you were just using frankincense of one thing, but it's so cool. It's like wacky packages when you were kids. Do you remember? You're younger than me, but do you remember like, okay, baseball trading cards,
Oh,
you
sure.
trade them. That's what I feel like the oils. It's so much fun. Like it's fun. You always have things at your fingertips. Like yesterday I was at church and someone said to me, "Oh, she's not here because her baby has an ear infection." I'm like, did she put a little lavender and tea tree on a cotton ball? And they're like,
Yeah.
what? Like,
What?
there's so much that we could share with people and educate them. And I wish I knew when my kids were young. Like, I know your
Yeah,
kids
I
were
mean,
pretty
mine were
young.
2 and 4, and I go back, wish, 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 right? I hate that, but like, oh my gosh, what if I could have had them during my pregnancies, and what if I could have had them during the birth, which one of my births was not great, right? So like all these applications that I know other people have used, but I've talked to young moms, or young women before they get married, before they have kids. I'm like, look, you've got things that can help you. Don't go this alone.
Absolutely. And
I
the
know you
young
have
moms
kids, so
open.
you've been able to, kind of pass this on to them too.
Oh, my kids use it. My kids are, 28 and 31, and they years old. And my son uses the Lifelong Vitality. He
And
uses
your
oils. My
Yeah, and
daughter
your
does too.
husband too. Like not to, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on that, but I
No,
remember we've talked a lot about your husband's been really open and great using oils, right?
absolutely. So he's like my biggest advocate now because he saw what Melissa does when you feel like you're coming on with something, and he'll go, "Could you make me one of those things?" And now he just makes it himself. He's like, "We're running low on the Melissa, if it's like that time." And he had double knee replacement, and I used a certain blend of oils for his scars. And I remember we went back to the doctor post-op a month later, and they're like, "What are you doing? What that looks really good." And when he was going to PT, the other people on the treadmills and stuff with him and on the bikes were like, wow, you've only been, a month after surgery. That looks great. What are you doing? And he's like, my wife's got these oils. I could tell her to make one if you want, like so it's great. Where he was in the beginning, like, what is that? What do you do?
Right.
You know,
It's
it just
easy to be skeptical. I mean,
is.
I always give people a lot of room because, like, it does sound a little strange. Right.
Sure. But think about how cool plants are, right? These
They
oils
are.
are from plants. And our ancestors, my grandparents, my time, they lived off the land always.
Yeah.
Everything they ate, they grew, so it was like crazy how we don't. We've come so far. And now hopefully our generation is going back. The
Yeah,
young
we have some amnesia when it comes to plants, I think, and we have to bring those memories back.
Yes. Well, I have to tell you, one of the things that's really helped me with the oils, because you
Yeah.
didn't ask me, I don't know if you're going to ask me that.
I don't know. You just tell me. Tell me.
Poison sumac. I
Oh,
have gotten poison sumac. I've lived in the same house for 34 years, for the past 15 years, every year,
okay.
except for the last 2 years that I've just been using oils. Nothing specific, just my body's been oiled up. Like, you know what I mean? Like I've
Yeah.
been using frankincense and I have not gotten poison sumac in 2 years. And that's huge. I was on steroids.
Wow.
I was on shots. Like I would get it and it would just come right over my body.
So your histamine response is like much stronger.
Yep. It's pretty cool. It's
Wow.
pretty cool. And I thought about that like a month or so ago. I'm like, hey, it's been 2 summers and I'm out there the same way like I
Right.
am.
Oh
It's
no, I know.
airborne for
You're a
me.
big outdoors person.
So, kudos to doTERRA essential oils. It's not all oils aren't the same. We have
Yeah.
these core oils and for some reason it combated that, plant out there
Right.
that I don't like. That doesn't like me, I should say.
Yeah, whatever. Right.
Hmm.
You have a healthy respect for it. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. I could ask you a million questions, but I
Is
think
it over? Are we
we have
over?
to wrap it up. I know it's over. We have to wrap it up. So I like to wrap it up with kind of 10 questions a la Actors Studio style with a little nod to James Littman, one of my favorite shows as a kid. So please give me one word answer or a phrase. Don't explain, we'll just take it as it is. And before we close, I just want to say thank you so much. This has been joyful and, life-giving and interesting and a beautiful memory for me. One of the reasons I'm doing Essential Stories is to capture all of these friendships and relationships that I've been able to build over the years and to give people a platform to share what they wanted to share. Did you get to share everything you wanted to share before we move on?
Yes, I did. This has
Okay.
been wonderful because it brings back memories for me too, and how this community is so inviting. Everyone wants to help everyone. Even when we first met, it was like just a natural thing that they used oils, that you used oils. You're like, oh yeah, here, use this oil. Like everybody just, you don't get that everywhere, put it that
No,
way.
you don't.
Whether out there, whether it's family or workplace. And this is like a really blessed community. Awesome.
Yeah. Well,
I'm
we're blessed to
grateful.
have you.
That's
All right.
good.
Ready for your 10
Okay.
questions?
Yeah, one word. Okay,
Here
go.
we go. I know.
hmm
Sometimes it's hard for one word, but you can do it.
hmm
What's your favorite smell?
Fresh cut grass.
What smell do you hate?
Like a dump, where
Garbage
they
dump?
garbage dump.
Garbage dump.
Yeah,
What brings you the greatest sense of peace?
praying.
What irritates you the most?
Mean people.
What's your favorite character trait in a human being?
Mm, kindness. Kindness.
What's your favorite guilty pleasure?
Chocolate.
What's the last food you'd like to eat before you pass on?
Eggplant parmesan.
If you had a magic wand and you could eradicate a disease or an illness, what's the first one you would get rid of?
Cancer.
If I gave you $500, you can't break it up, you can only use it one place, what would you do?
I would probably buy oils like roll-ons and I would hand them out. I'd go to like Penn Station or something and hand them out.
That's so beautiful. What one word would you like to leave the audience with today?
Believe.
Thanks, Jill. It's been a
Thank
real
you. This
pleasure.
has been great.